Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. To my channel. Ooh, 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 ooh. To my channel. Okay. Hey guys. Happy Saturday. I know what you're thinking. Wait a minute. Shouldn't this been a Friday's video? We're not gonna get into that. Life happened. Moving on. Anyway, happy Saturday. Hope you guys are having a great day, week, month, whenever y'all are watching this video on this channel, right here, right now. Welcome to the first of the firsts, Coffee and Tea with me, your girl, a happy heart, aka Rachel. Welcome to the first of the firsts, these videos. Also, this has been a long anticipated video. Many of you have asked if I filmed this video. Is it up yet? Guess what, guys? I'm finally sitting down and I'm finally filming this video. This is attempt number 3. You've heard it right. Yes, your ears aren't tricking you. This is attempt number 3. Lord, let me tell you, the devil is out here in these streets and he is busy. But that's okay. You know why? I mean, it's not okay. It's all good because, God is still on his throne and we just gonna film this video and get it out here so y'all can be out here and enjoy it. Thumbs it up. Subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave a comment down below, share it with your family and friends, and hopefully this video encourages you and inspires you. And, yeah. So this video is obviously me sharing my testimony. So without further ado, we're just going to jump right into the video. Oh, let me put it first, disclaimer, which I hate doing. I hate when YouTubers do that because it's like, really guys, it's 2018. We really got to be putting disclaimers on our videos. But you know what? There are some really dumb people out here, okay? They're just so bored with their lives. They will knit and pick at every little thing in your life and just, I don't know. It's like they're so unhappy with their own lives and they just gotta ruin your life while they ruining theirs at the same time. Really guys, come on, ain't nobody got time for this. And then on top of that, we live in such a super sensitive world. It's you can't even make a joke that's not even a funny joke without somebody getting all up in their feelings. And it's really? Cry me a river, build me a bridge, and honey, get over it, because it wasn't that funny. Okay? We can't even laugh anymore without somebody crying in a corner. So, yeah. Oh, by the way, this is tea. So, it's from Starbucks, and it's amazing. And if you haven't had any of their shaken iced teas with lemonade, get it with lemonade, because it will bless your life. They're amazing, and I recommend taking a break from your coffee and getting tea for the rest of the spring because, like I said, it'll bless your life. And I firmly believe this will be on the table during the wonderful feast that we will be having in heaven because, yes, it's that good. Anyways, so disclaimers, that's what I meant. I'm sorry, I'm joggled. So the first disclaimer is this is my personal testimony. This is my story. I didn't make this up. All these things happened real life. If you're expecting something super exaggerant, I almost got eaten by a shark, or my life flashed before my eyes, or I was kidnapped, then I'm sorry. It's not that kind of story. None of that stuff has ever happened. God willing, that will never happen to me. So if you're looking for that type of video, then it's not on this channel. It's not on this channel. I'm not perfect, so if you're expecting me to sit here and talk about how wonderful, perfect person I am now that I'm a Christian, or since I've been a Christian, again, that's not me. If you're looking for that type of video, please exit right, that was left, right, please, because no. I am human. I am not perfect. I don't pretend that I am the perfect Christian. I don't even want to talk like I'm the perfect Christian. And I'm not saying that because, I'm happy to be, no, it's an unreachable goal. It really is there's no such thing as the perfect Christian. And if you think you know somebody who is a perfect Christian, then they probably don't live on planet Earth, and they're probably not even human. And on top of that, they're probably not even Christian either, because us Christians can tell you, us non-perfect Christians can tell you, the perfect ones don't exist. So, yeah. Okay. What else? Oh, and this doesn't mean that I'm better than anyone, because we all know she is not better than anyone. So I'm not sitting here saying, I'm better than, no. I don't try to act like I'm better. I may have manners. I do have manners. I'm not going to sit there and say that I don't have manners, because that's how my parents brought me up. Like, yes ma'am, yes sir, please and thank you, have a nice day, God bless you, all that kind of stuff. Like, I do have manners, and I know how to use them, so don't come for me. But yeah, I'm not trying to be somebody that I'm not, because I believe in being yourself, and what you see is what you get, and if you don't like what you see, then don't let the doorknob hit you, or the good Lord split you when you leave. What else? Oh, this also does not mean that I know my Bible more than anybody else, because I don't. But that doesn't mean that I'm not learning more about the Bible. Does that make sense? Good. Great. Good talk. Okay, now that we've got the disclaimers out of the way, let's jump into this video. So I first came to know God as my personal savior. I became a Christian when I was in high school. With that being said, I'm going to back up a little bit. I was raised in a Christian home. My parents, my mom and dad, raised me and my siblings up in a very strong Christian home. We grew up on strong Christian values. We heard about God. We read the Bible. God was basically a conversation that happened almost every day. Sunday rolled around, we went to church as a family. Wednesday night rolled around, we went to church as a family. My parents also involved us in various Christian activities that were for our age as well, so that we were really, I guess, like, in it. That does not mean that they forced it down our throat. Now, please, let me make this very clear. They never forced anything down our throats. They never forced us to go anywhere. Maybe they did force us to go to church, but as children back in the day, we were, I'm not gonna lie, we were, rebellious, and we were like, I ain't going to church, I don't feel like going to church. Well, how come so-and-so? There was a couple times where we didn't go, and that was either because we were sick, or we happened to be out of town, and, we just didn't go to church that Sunday. But that doesn't mean that, but, does that make sense? Just wanted to put that out there. Like, they never, you have to go, or you're gonna die. Like, it wasn't anything like that. Everything they did in love, so it wasn't like, oh, well, you're not a Christian yet, so we're gonna, no. My parents, I am just eternally grateful for everything that my parents did leading up to me having a personal relationship with Christ, because honestly, I feel like if it was the other way around, I probably wouldn't be the person I am today. I probably wouldn't be where I am today. I know most definitely I probably would not be sitting here and sharing this story with you guys. So, yeah. Okay, now that the disclaimers are out of the way, let's jump into the story. So I first, like I said, I became a Christian when I was in high school. I don't remember exactly what age I was, but I do know that I was in high school. So yeah, at the very beginning, my parents started teaching us and talking to us about God. We were very much involved in church and various church activities. Back in high school at the time, there was this, in the Christian world, there was this, I don't want to say fad, but there was this phase that came out, and it was the Left Behind phase. I don't know if you remember. Shout out to all you OGers out there that know what I'm talking about. Left Behind came out. These authors, I think there was like 2 of them, came out with this book series for adults and children called Left Behind, and it was Left Behind series. And it was really the phase back then, and everybody was like, all the people in Christian. I think there were some, unbelievers that were like, oh, this seems interesting. Let's read it. They must be really popular. It was really popular. Everybody read them. Unfortunately for me, the joys of YouTube. Unfortunately for me, I was not, I don't don't know. I read books, but I'm not like, oh my god, a new book. I'm not like obsessively read books, if that makes sense. Like, and I'm not bashing those that do. I mean, if you like reading over watching TV, more power to you. If you like watching TV over reading books, more power to you. Like, I'm not teen TV over teen books. I'm just not an avid reader like that. I mean, I will read books, but honey, it has to grab, like, you have to have me hooked from page one. And if you're not hooked at page one, you have lost me. Like, I have started books from like 2 years ago, and I haven't even finished them. So that's where I am with my life. Okay, I'm just sharing there's a little tidbit about me, in book reading. So yeah, I wasn't really obsessed with the books, but my brother and my mom were. So my brother read the children's book series, and then my mom read the adult series, and then my mom allowed my brother to read some of the adult series as well. Obviously, she proofread them before she let him, read them, before she gave them to him. So that was that. And then the movie came out, and I remember, I think our parents either rented it or bought. I want to say we bought it, and we sat down as a family, and we watched the movie, and it was pretty good. I liked it. It was, it had you on the seat from the first scene, so that was really good. It didn't really, shock my nerves to shingles. Like, I wasn't like, oh, I gotta become a Christian. It was just kind of like, honestly, to me, it was just like a regular, better made, nicely done Christian movie. Yeah. So, later on in that year, every June, in the month of June, we would go down, kind of like the second to last week of June, we would go down to visit my grandparents in North Carolina because their church did Vacation Bible School, and my parents were very much involved in that. My parents taught the youth during that Vacation Bible School, and as kids were thrown into various classes, so that's why we were down there. And I think we got on the subject of Left Behind. I don't know if my grandparents hadn't seen it yet. They had heard about it, but they hadn't seen it yet. So I don't know if they randomly went to the Christian bookstore and bought the movie, but somehow we ended up watching. I do know we watched the movie again at Grandma's house. So we watched the movie, and then my grandmother goes, oh, that reminds me, I have the set of movies that it's kind of like Left Behind, but it's not really like that, but it's like a series or whatever. So she sent us home with those. Shout out to all you people that remember VHS, because let me tell you something. DVD, these kids today don't know the struggles that we went through back in the day. But we appreciate them. Do we? Don't we? I appreciate them. Like, I am so glad I lived in a time where Blockbuster was a thing. I am so, these kids today, Netflix, psh, what do they know? Anyway, Blockbuster was a thing, right? Saturday night, rode up to the Pizza Hut, then right next to the Pizza Hut was the Blockbuster. You got that's your weekend. That's your weekend right there. Am I right? Am I right? Netflix and Hulu. Get out of here. Anyway, so we took these movies home and we watched them. We watched them as a family. That a lot of things that we did back in the day, which we kind of don't do today, we did as a family. Obviously, because now my siblings and I were older, we have our own lives. So getting together as a family is kind of hard unless it's the holiday season. So or unless somebody's getting married or somebody's graduating. Outside of that, it's just kind of see you at Christmas, see you at Thanksgiving. And then you get a phone call for Easter and Mother's Day and Father's Day and that kind of thing. So yeah. So I don't remember what part in the movie that we were watching, or what part of the series we were watching, but I do remember one scene in the movie that we were watching. It's this mother and her two girls. They're in church. The pastor's preaching about fire and brimstone, the end times, and you got to get it right, get it tight because Jesus is coming and you don't want to be left behind. Woo! That kind of stuff. The kind of preaching that some pastors be a little bit overboard, and you're just kind of okay, are you trying to scare me into salvation, or are you cause yeah, honey, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but so anyway, the mother and the daughters, they go home because it's Sunday afternoon. The oldest daughter was obviously in her teenager years, so she I think she hopped in the car with her teenage friends, and they drove up there. They drove off somewhere, probably do something illegal. And the middle schooler, obviously, she stayed home. And then the mom, I think either she went to the back of the house to take a nap, or go chat it up with a neighbor, or pull some weeds. I don't know where she went, but I do know that before she left the kitchen area, she put a pot of water on the stove, and she had turned the stove on. She basically told the daughter, call me when the water starts boiling. Don't, because I don't want you to burn yourself, blah, blah, blah. You know how parents are. Um, so the daughter's just hanging out, whatever. Long story short, the pot starts boiling. The daughter calls the mom. She calls the mom several times. She doesn't answer. So she gets up from where she is to go find her mom. She goes looking throughout the house, can't find the mom. Meanwhile, the music is intensifying. She's having flashbacks from the sermon that day. She's looking a little panicked because she literally can't find her mom. And you're all sitting there and you're thinking to yourself, oh my God, the rapture has taken place. Like, she's literally at home by herself. So it gets super dramatic, everything intensifies, and just when you think that, the worst is yet to come and there's more to come, in comes the mother from, I think she was outside somewhere. And, she runs to the kitchen and she turns the stove off and she consoles her daughter and everything. And her daughter's like, she's like, what's wrong? Like, why are you upset? Like, why are you so, why are you upset? Why are you upset? And the daughter goes, and the daughter blurts out, I thought the water was boiling and I couldn't find you. I thought the rapture took place and I thought I was going to be here all by myself. And, blah, blah, blah. And so the mother, like, consoles her and everything. And it's like, no, I'm right here. Like, oh. And I think later on, I think in the next couple scenes, like, she eventually comes out and tells her mom, I want to, tell me more about, the end times. And, like, I don't want to be left here by myself in case something like this happens. Again, like, I want to go to heaven. I want to go to heaven too. Just something along, I don't remember like what else happened. For some reason, just the first several scenes of that part of the movie like burned a hole in my memory. So after watching the video, we like, by that time it was like bedtime, so we got ready for bed and went to bed. For some reason, I remember tossing and turning in my bed because I couldn't get like that whole entire scene out of my mind. We finished the rest of the series the next couple of weeks or days. And there were a lot of things in that entire video series that, like, I don't want to necessarily scared me, but it did kind of, like, it rubbed me in a certain way that I was like, man, people are really serious about this stuff. And I will say that because of the Left Behind series, they had brought up the topic about, the end times and the tribulation, and, many churches were doing, the book of Revelation. And I want to say that there was probably even like a Bible study, like a Left Behind Bible study series. I don't know. There probably was. So I was hearing a lot about it at church, and I was like, man, like, these people are really obsessed about this. Like, I honestly, like, I didn't get it. Like, I didn't really, like, fully understand. Like, I knew it was going to happen. Don't get me wrong. Like, I was smart enough to know that it was going to happen. I just wasn't, like, I just didn't believe it for myself. I was just kind of like, oh, that's kind of scary. All these things they're mentioning, like, that's really going to happen. Well, I'm good, da-da-da-da. When in reality, I was not good. One of the things, my mom is famous for, like, dropping truth bombs, wisdom bombs. That's what I call them. And one of the things that she used to say to me and my siblings, and she would say this not in a harsh way, but she would say it in such a way that it, like, pierced you. And one of the things she used to say was, always be sure of your faith. Because a lot of times as kids, we would come and we would talk to her about God and different things. And I don't think that, like, again, they didn't pressure us to become Christians. They didn't pressure us to have these conversations. It was just things that as kids, like, we came and talked to our parents about. Like, we were just having a regular conversation, like, how do you drive a car? How do you make ice cream? Just like a regular conversation. And they were very obliging and they were very willing to, sit down and talk to us. And I think it really meant something that their children had questions and that they were really, that their minds were working and that we were interested in learning more about God and talking about God. So I think it really did them, I think it really made them proud, even though, we didn't believe yet. We weren't at that point of maturity to believe yet, if that makes sense. Does it make sense? I think it makes sense. So anyway, the whole just being in that world and seeing that phase and just everybody like talking about it, it got to the point where I started getting irritated. And I don't know if I was irritated because I didn't like what I was hearing, or it was like bothering me to the point where I was just like, this thing better hurry up and happen, because if it doesn't happen already, then these people need to shut up. Also, the one thing that like rubbed me the wrong way was when people kept saying that it could happen any day. Like, you don't know when it's going to happen. You can't schedule it in. It's just going to happen. And it's going to happen in the blink of an eye. And you're not going to know what's going on until like maybe, I don't know. You're just not going to, like, I feel like it's going to be a while before you fully understand, wait a minute, the world is crap. Like, you know what I'm saying? So that's the thing. So I was just like, well, so then I started living, like, I'm going to be honest, I started living in fear, which I was like, is today going to be the day? Like, I would literally go to bed at night and just lay there like, well, maybe if I stay awake, I won't miss it. But do you know how fast a blink of an eye is? Like, seriously, I feel like if I blink, I'm going to miss it. You are, which is true. Like, it's going to happen in a blink of an eye. We all know how fast a blink of an eye is. So it's just, but as a teenager, which sounds really dumb, it makes me sound like I'm a stupid teenager, but you just I don't think I didn't fully understand what was really happening. So with that being said, like, I was just irritated. I was overhearing about it. I wasn't sleeping. It was really bothering me. And so I think at one point in time, I was just kind of like, I was just done. And so I went to my mom, and I wouldn't remember what conversation we had. We had a conversation about something. I think it got to the point where I just like started asking her questions. And within the conversation, she brought up the phrase that she always used to say was, always be sure of your faith. Always be sure of your faith. And I think she did ask the question, Rachel, you're asking all these questions, why are you asking these questions? Are you sure of your faith? And I think I said yes, and which she replied with another question, which is my mom. Like, if you know my mom, then you know she is the queen of questions. Like, she will beat your behind in 20 questions, okay? Let's just be real. She's like, trust me, she's the queen of questions. So I was just kind of like, yeah. And she's like, really? Well, how do you know? And da-da-da. And so then that got me irritated because, mom asking questions and me having to answer all these dang questions. I was just kind of like, look, I love you, but ain't nobody got time for this. Like, my friends are outside. It's a beautiful day. I'm not trying to waste 45 to 60 minutes playing the question game. So can I just go on with my life? So I think I think my mom realized that I was getting irritated, which so she was just like, we're going to cut this short. So I left, but it just heard the questions that she was asking me in the conversation that we had, it never went away. So I was just kind of like, either I need to face this or I just need to like brush it off. And I felt like I could, as much as I brushed it off, it still kept coming back. So I was like, you know what? There's something that we need to do. We need to do something about it. And I was like, if this is really bothering me, maybe it is because I'm not sure. I honestly don't know. I honestly can't sit down and say that if something were to happen to me tomorrow or to my parents, would I be ready? And, I was just kind of like, bottom line, it all boiled down to the answer was no. I would not be ready. I probably would be in complete panic. I was thinking the worst. Like, what if this does happen tomorrow and I'm the only one left? Like, I don't know how to pay bills. I don't know how to drive yet. Like, I don't have, like, I was like, there were all these things that were going through my mind, and I was like, and I'm not saying that, like, I was thinking it as an easy way out. Like, well, let me just, so in case this does happen, I ain't got to worry about taking care of a house and feeding, kids and, mowing the lawn and all this jazz. Like, I think that's where my mind was, but I just, again, like I said, I didn't really fully understand, but I just knew that it bothered me, and it rubbed me in the, not, like I say, the wrong kind of way, but, like, just an uncomfortable way that I just needed, I knew I needed to do something, and I knew I had to do something now, or right that minute. So I went and I talked to my mom, and I was telling her, again, I had another conversation with my mom, and I was like telling her, how uncomfortable I was feeling. And then she said, and then we eventually figured out, she was like, well, then I think that, she's like, do you think that you want to have a conversation with the pastor? And I kind of like, I didn't answer right away. I was just kind of like, oh, yeah, I think I need to have a conversation with Pastor Perry. And she was like, okay. So we set up an appointment, and it was me and my youngest brother. I have two brothers, so it was the youngest one. And we both went in on the same day. I kind of made my youngest brother go first because I didn't want to be the first one to go in there. So I made Aaron go in first, and then he went in, had his meeting with Pastor Perry, and then he came out, and then it was my turn. And I didn't know what to expect. I'm walking in there thinking, I'm going to be sitting in the timeout chair, and he's going to be looking at me all stern and stuff. But to be completely honest, my former pastor, Pastor Perry, he is the sweetest guy ever. I don't know if you've ever had a personal conversation, like one-on-one, deep conversation with any of, like, for those of you that go to church and you talk to your pastors, they're some nice people, guys. Like, I know they may seem intimidating when they're up there, preaching the word, but the pastors that I have been blessed to sit under, they are really like they're just down to earth humans like the rest of us. Like, can we just clarify something? These guys are humans, okay? They don't got no superpowers, okay? They are human like you and I, okay? But so yeah, I don't understand why I was so nervous, because I sat down in the chair and he started talking, and the mood was very calm and everything, which that sounds so random. But yeah, and so we ended up having a conversation, which it was. It was a conversation. And there was nothing, and he, like, I guess he could tell that I was, like, nervous, and he was like, you don't have to be nervous about anything, like, you don't have to be scared. But he was just so nice, and the whole process was, like, so easy, and I felt comfortable. And we talked about some things. I sat there and asked some questions. Sometimes, I think there was some point in time where, like, I didn't ask a question, and he was just kind of like, are you there? Like, are you awake? But and that's just how I am. Like, sometimes I ain't got no questions. And just because I don't have anything to say just because I'm quiet doesn't mean I don't have anything to say. I just don't have anything to say right then and there. That doesn't mean that I don't have a question or I don't have an answer, you know? Sometimes it's better to be silent. Sometimes people don't always need to raise their hand all the time or speak up all the time. Like, that's just how that doesn't mean that, like, you know, we're not taking things seriously or we're not listening or paying attention. Some of us, you know, just because I'm not saying anything doesn't mean that I don't have something to say. Maybe my thought will come later. Okay? Like, I don't understand why people are just like, you don't participate because you don't answer questions. Really? I'm sitting here listening to you, being respectful and giving you my time. Ain't that enough? I gotta be like, really? Okay, anyway. Sorry, got a little sidetracked. Sorry for a little rant. I had to throw that little I didn't mean to throw that little rant in there. But, you know, you gotta let people know sometimes before they come for you, okay? Because we all know we got people out there that will attack before it's even time to attack. So pump your brakes. So anyway, I ended up praying the prayer, and I became a Christian that day, and I went out, and of course I got emotional because if y'all don't know me, I'm Miss Emotional over here. And I talked to my mom about it, and she was like, yay. So after that, like, honestly, I want to say things changed, but not in like I'm expecting something. I knew because I had talked to people who had become Christians before, and they literally say that if you're expecting something physical to happen, then that's not the case, because that's not really going to happen. It's more of a spiritual thing. It's not a physical thing, it's a spiritual thing. Just to clarify. So, I think because I had been raised in a Christian home, and because I had been around people who constantly talked about God and constantly talked to me about God, I think what happened for me was it wasn't me like there was a shift that happened. So it became me not fully understanding to me understanding. So basically a switch flipped. And it was like, oh, okay, I get it now. And so ever since then, it went from I don't understand to okay, I understand, I'm getting it. Oh, okay. I will say that the learning process for me about learning about God turned up a notch. Like, somebody took that vault and they broke it. When they turned, like, you can't pull it down. Okay, it's there for life. Okay, y'all, it's there for life. So yeah, fast forward to today. I want to say, okay, let me back up. After that, of course, we did get baptized. Me and my brother got baptized on the same day. And that was very special and beautiful. Yes, we got cards, we got phone calls, we got gifts. But it made everything, ever since then, everything that I have been doing just makes a lot more sense. And I take it more seriously. Maybe not as serious as all the other people, but guess what? You know what? Not everybody's in the same spiritual level as you are. And again, like I said, I don't think that the Christian life is meant to be taken so seriously that we're walking around with sticks up our butts and we can't use our brain and we talk down to people and we have this arrogant, I'm better than you attitude because I read my Bible more, I serve more, I sing, I play an instrument, I do this, I do that. Because then you're turning it into something that really isn't meant to be. I mean, it's just... Okay, I'm not going to rant. Okay, that's a rant for a whole nother video. But anyway, so yeah, but everything that I do now, I do differently than I did back when I was in high school, and I take it, I have more understanding, and I understand why I do it now. As far as like learning about God, y'all, I have a heart for learning. I love hearing about God. I love hearing about the Bible. I love reading. I love being involved. I love serving. I've been blessed with talents that God has given me, and I love using those talents to glorify Him and to minister to others and encourage others, whether that's singing, whether that's playing my flute or piano, or, teaching Sunday school to the little kids, or hanging out with the babies in the nursery, or being a greeter and greeting people, or chaperoning a youth group for several missions trips, that kind of thing. Like, it really is, or going on mission trips myself. Like, it's really inspiring and important to me. Oh, and hearing other people's testimony too. Like, just, I'm like a sponge. I like to soak it all in, and I love just being around people who openly and freely like pour into you. Like, I love it when the older generation just sits down and they just start talking about God, and they talk about like all the things that He's done for them and their life experiences, and how they leaned into God when this trial happened or when this happened. And it's just kind of like, it's eye-opening and it's inspiring, and it's just like, man, I want to have that kind of faith. Maybe not that kind of experience, like, because some of those experiences I was like, whoo, and you're still standing, and you're still smiling, and you up in here in this church serving at your age, like, can I have your faith, please? Can I have some of that? Because that's a testimony right there. Like, man. So yeah, and I do it all to the glory of God. Like, I want everything that I do not to be like, I don't want to be put on a pedestal, but I just want people to see that, it's the God in me, and I have such a heart for Him, and a heart for, being obedient to Him. And I'm going to be honest, I'm not perfect. I mess up. I'm a brokenness of a mess. I'm a broken human. But just the fact that, like, even in my brokenness, He still loves me. He doesn't look at me less than, and He's always there. His arms are always open wide, and He's like, I'm not going anywhere. You can stray, but you're always welcome back. You're always welcome back. And let me tell you, when you come back, it's going to be a party time, okay? Like, He's happy to see me when I come back, So I try not to stray away too long, because trust me, it gets lonely when you're out there and you're straying, and it's not a fun world when you're away from your Father. It's not. It's dangerous out there, y'all. It's dangerous. Y'all, Satan is out here in these streets, and he is busy. Be on your guard, okay? So yeah. So yeah, that's it. that's my story. Again, I don't know if you were expecting something like really big and dramatic to happen, but that's it. That's all of it. I don't even know what else to say. I guess to like tell you where I'm at. Like I said, which I shared a little bit of, I'm very active in my church. I want to say ever since me becoming a Christian, I've like done more. Again, it's not for selfish ambition. It's not to get recognition. To be completely honest, when I do like serve and step up and do things, it makes me really like kind of like embarrassed when people are like, "Oh my God, you did such a great job," and it's just kind of like, no, it's just my servant's heart, and it's, I have a talent for working with kids, or I have a talent with, music, or I have a talent for, it's just, I don't know, I feel like it's something that God has laid on my heart to do, and when I raise my hand and volunteer, it's not, I feel like that's, the Holy Spirit saying, I feel like you would, I feel like that's the Holy Spirit pushing me in that direction, saying, you're good at this, you're good with people, I want to use you in this area, put your hand in the air, like, raise your hand, so yeah, honestly, I just want people to see what God sees, which is my heart. That is I want to say like my main goal when people look at me or when people talk about me. Again, I'm not perfect and I don't get anything right, but at the end of the day, I just want to leave like a lasting impression. Like, even though she dropped a couple of F-bombs, or even though, it took a while for her to, forgive me, she still, she still has a beautiful heart, and she's a child of God, and yeah, I don't know. I feel so weird talking about myself. I don't like talking about myself like that because I feel like it's like prideful and foolish, and I don't know. I don't like bragging about myself. That's the other thing too. I don't like bragging. Like, I may be good at stuff, and I don't say like, I try not to say, I try to use everything as a blessing because God gives and God takes away. And so everything that I have, all the talents that I have, they've literally come from Him. And I try to use them in a way that is as a way of thanking Him for blessing me for the talents. Because again, the scripture says the Lord gives and the Lord takes away. And I don't want to have the kind of attitude where I get so caught up in my talent that the Holy Spirit takes it away because it's not being used the right way, if that makes sense. So, yeah. That's it, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please leave them in the comment section down below. Don't forget to thumbs up this video, subscribe, turn on the notification bell. There will be a Friday favorites video will be next week. I don't know what I'll be talking about, but yeah, if you like this type of video, because this is the first coffee and tea with me video, then thank you. If you want me to talk about anything, like sit down and chat, we can. Send me some topics that you want me to talk about. Ooh, I know. I think the next one will be like, because I've been on several missions trips. So if you want to know about my favorite missions trip, or my favorite mentor, like who, what was the biggest piece of advice, spiritual advice someone has given me, or a list of spiritual advice that people have given me throughout the years, I will be happy to do that. So yeah. And before I end this video, I just want to, I feel like this is going to be like really weird, but I really want to dedicate this video to each and every person who has been praying for me since day one of my, not just my spiritual journey, but my physical journey as well. That has been praying for me, that has been praying with me, that prays over me. Pause, because there is a motorcycle coming. As you were, to all those people that constantly pour wisdom into me on a regular basis. Like, man, I am so blessed that God has given me such wonderful friends and family who are just, I mean, it's just, they just are amazing. And sometimes, like, they tell me things that I don't really want to hear at that point in time, and then some things they give me and I'm like, what? And then later on in life I'm like, oh, now I get why you said what you said when you said that one time that I acted like I knew what you was talking about, but I didn't know. And now that I know, like, oh, okay, I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna put it in my pocket and I'm gonna pull it out and sprinkle it over here, because the people over here look like they need a little sprinkle. So here we go, sprinkle, like, just, yeah. So that would be first and foremost my parents. That would be my former pastor. That would be my Sunday school teachers. That would be the ladies that I worked with when I was at preschool. The fellow Awana leaders, all the volunteers that I worked with at Vacation Bible School. The former youth pastor and his wife when I worked alongside them in the youth group. My grandparents, my aunts, my uncles, my cousins, my best friends, like, just, gosh, there's a lot of y'all. I'm not gonna name any names. And then my ride or die best friends. Like, you guys have known me the longest, and man, I'm so grateful that I can just come to you and, all you have to ask me is what's up, and I can vent to you, and instead of you just being judgmental, you sit there, you listen, and when I'm done, you just empty. You just, and it's nothing but, have you read your Bible? Have you prayed? Are you journaling? Just, making sure that I'm on track, keeping my best interest at heart. Like, I love you guys to the moon and back. I'm eternally grateful for each and every one of you. And I am just so blessed. And please believe that every spiritual conversation that we have, I never take them for granted. I don't take them for granted at all. I keep them close to my heart. And, yeah, I don't think, I would be the person I am today, first and foremost, without God, but without Him blessing me with the people that I have in my life. So yeah. All right, guys, that is it. I will see you sometime next week. I might do like a one take on Sunday. I'm not sure. But I hope this video encouraged you or inspired you in some way, shape, or form. And I will talk to you guys later. Bye.